So my name is Marcus Nilsson. I'm the executive producer for Need for Speed.
What were your goals heading into this new Need for Speed?
The goals really is to figure out and the foundation for what a Need for Speed experience should be. For a brand to really function, they need to understand who they are. And I think that we maybe had that a little bit mixed up in the past, we're really shifting the experience from year to year. And with the build-up of Ghost, the studio that I now run, we got to a place where we now own the creative around Need for Speed. So we established these are the core pillars of Need for Speed, and we're going to kind of build upon that going forward.
Can you talk about the 5 main pieces of gameplay in this?
I think you're referring to the 5 ways to play, which is a system that we developed based upon what we think is the ultimate Need for Speed experience. And we really think that the core components of a Need for Speed experience is going fast, insanely fast, 120 miles per hour, into corners sideways with style, in a heavy modified car, chased by cops together with friends. So if you have those 5 components coming together, we've now, we built a narrative, stories, 5 different stories, where we basically teach you and learn you and reward you based upon the skill sets of that play style. So an example of that, if for speed you're going to have speed gameplay and game modes that are based upon speed. If you have the playthrough of Outlaw, it's going to be how you drive recklessly and go into cop chases, and that the game's going to reward you for that, build up your kind of reputation.
And build is something brand new. Can you talk a little about that?
Yeah. Build is coming really handy because this obviously we go very deep on customization. Both when it comes to visual customization, but also performance tuning and car handling tuning. Actually, we even have some modifiers this time around. So the build is all about searching for perfection. Build up that car, build up car looks, sound, handling. And the way that you want other people to see you.
Can you talk a little about the world people will be exploring?
Oh, the world is, is really interesting. It's a big world. It's I know said exact same thing when we did Rivals. This is twice the size of Rivals, and the variation in this world is absolutely massive. It's all the way from tight city streets to sweeping valley roads, industrial sites to police hotspots. So the variation that you can find in this world is just unprecedented in a Need for Speed game.
What has next gen opened up, especially when you look at the visuals you guys have in this game?
Well, the visuals are obviously pretty astounding. We work with Frostbite. Frostbite is an amazing game engine, especially now when we have full PBR support, which is physically based rendering. In a simplified way, physically based rendering is basically perfect lighting conditions. You build a model in a special way, you put it into a PBR environment, and it mathematically just gives you the right light. That's why stuff can start to look real, and that's why parts of what we're making now is kind of on the border of really looking, really, really real.
And people will be able to race at all different times of day. What does that add to the experience?
So people will be able to race from dusk to dawn. So really from kind of it's getting darker to dark to getting lighter again. So not during the day. And this really comes down to the way that we portray urban car culture. Urban car culture happens at night. When you go to sleep, they go out racing, and that's what is the base for that.
Can you talk a little about the overall goal when someone goes in and plays this game? There's different celebrity representatives that you're trying to learn from and then ultimately win across the board.
Yeah, part of the narrative, which we don't really go into so deeply here today, is that you have these 5 parallel stories. Each is led by a real-world icon, which is then has this specialty in his real life. And yes, you aspire to kind of drive like him, learn from him, and ultimately become the icon.
How have you seen any kind of influence from the big screen, whether it's things like the Fast and Furious films or even the Need for Speed film, influence what you guys do from a storytelling standpoint in this game?
I think we get inspired from whatever we do, right? You know, watching your Facebook feed, to watching movies, to watching TV series, whatever it is, we get inspired. I couldn't necessarily say exactly what we would take from the Need for Speed movie or the Fast and the Furious. All I know is that the highly creative people we have find inspiration in basically whatever we look at.